You know, earlier we sang the song, It's All a Gift. And, you know, I wrote that song, I was on an island in Sicily, and I just finished a workshop exercise that really opened me. And every now and then I'll hear voices, like this inner voice speaking. It seems to be happening more lately. And I remember just being in this very open state. And I heard this voice that just said, it's all a gift. It's all a gift. It's all a gift. All of it. Every single bit of it. It's all a gift. And it went deeper and deeper every time that phrase was repeating in my mind. And I got it on a deeper level, just how precious. You know, all of these things, and they're not necessarily fun. There are a lot of things in our life that aren't fun, right? So how can we, just really about how can we make that a gift in our lives? How can we find the gift in all of these things? You know, there are a lot of things that happen in our world, and people say, how could God let that happen? How could God let that happen? You know, like, maybe it's one of the biggest questions in life. You know, we've had some major tragedies in the last year. How could God let that happen? I think that when we ask that question, it's almost like we think God is the old man in the sky making choices. But what if that's not the case? What if God is this field of love, this field of creative energy? And what the truth is that we're always given each moment. You know, the real choice, the real gift is that we are always at a pivot point. Every moment is a pivot point of choice. It's not necessarily about what's happening out there, but what are we choosing in here? What do we choose in here with each moment? So maybe that's the gift, not that we can't necessarily change what's happening out there. You know, this is a world of free will, isn't it? Yes. It's free will. I can't change everyone's free will. How could God let that happen? Well, what God is letting happen is each moment is a pivot choice of how am I going to be with what's happening. And you know, really the choice is, will I love or will I not love? If you bring it down to the simplest form. That's the choice. That's the gift. We always have that gift of that pivot. And as you were reading in the Hafiz quote, you know, love creates freedom. How could you love and not have freedom come from it? The reason you're in this room is because you want spiritual freedom. That's the reason you're here. If you cull it down to the simplest form, you're in this room because you want spiritual freedom, and that's found in that pivot point. Every moment is a choice point to choose. And if you choose love, you're always choosing Hafiz's freedom in every moment. So how does this show up in our lives? You know, there are all sorts of things that come up and they're disturbing. And how do we find the gift in it? So I just gave you a big kind of major principle of life. I want to look at some other kind of little things and how they happen, how they show up.